Liver is an organ, just like the kidneys and then the heart and all that. It's a very important organ. The liver produces something called bile. So the liver produces that clotting factor. The liver also helps in detoxification process. As a detoxification, when we eat, also helps in production of cholesterol and control of cholesterol. So takes a little, use it, and then the excess ones are eliminated from the body.
Today we are going to talk about the liver. Now we are going to see everything we need to know about the liver and how we can maintain a very good liver. And today we are here with our lovely Dr. Ben, Dr. Chrissy Ben.
Yeah.
Good morning, Doc.
Yeah, okay. So, like previously that we've been talking about health conditions. The last time, like he said, we spoke about HIV. We also spoke about the kidneys. So the kidneys and then the functions and some of the diseases that affect the kidneys. And today we are going to talk about the liver. Now, when you look at the body system, there are some vital organs that controls the body. We have the brain, we have the kidneys, we have the liver, and then we also have the heart. They perform exclusive functions in the body system. That if those functions are not going on, a lot of problems will affect the body. So today we'll talk about one of them, as the liver. The liver is an organ, just like the kidneys and then the heart and all that. It's a very important organ. God naturally did it for a purpose in the body system. Yes. And when you look at the abdomen, usually the abdomen is divided into 4 sections.
Okay, so that's my abdomen. This is the abdomen.
4 sections.
Okay, it's divided into 4 sections.
Yes. So when you take the upper,
the upper.
so we have the upper
Right or left?
right quadrant.
Right. Okay.
We have the upper left quadrant.
Okay.
We have the lower right quadrant, and then we have the lower left quadrant.
Okay.
Yes. But the liver is more on the upper
It's on the upper right.
right quadrant. Okay. Yes. So it has 2 lobes. We have the one on the right, and then we have the one on the left.
Okay. It has 2
Lobes.
2 lobes.
Yeah. So there's one on the left, there's one on the left, on the right.
All right.
Yes.
So last time we spoke about kidney,
Yeah.
and the kidney we had 2. So for that, it means the kidney one will be on our upper right, and one will be on our upper left.
Yes.
Okay. So today the liver is on the right.
Yes.
Upper quadrant.
Yes.
So now let's talk about the functions of our liver.
Okay.
What are the functions of a liver?
Okay. So the liver, like we said, performs a lot of functions.
Okay.
First of all, the liver produces something called bile.
Okay.
Bile is normally when you kill a chicken or a fowl, looking at, there's a part that is in the intestine that you see a yellowish pigment there. So that's what we call bile. So the liver produces the bile, which helps in digestion of fat in the body system. And then the liver also produces clotting factors. There's one we call prothrombin, there's one we call thrombin. Yes. So if somebody has a cut, naturally, sometimes you realize that after some time, the wound or the cut, the bleeding subsides. Yes. So the liver produces that clotting factor, that hormone, that helps to control the blood. So the blood doesn't come that much. So naturally, you see that it cuts off. Yes, that's the function, one of the functions of the liver. The liver also helps in detoxification process. As a detoxification, when we eat, the waste part, just like the kidney that releases waste from the body. So the liver also takes part of the waste, retains the waste and clears it out of the system. So most of the medications, the drugs that we also take, the side effect, like the waste side of the drugs that we take, also goes into the liver. So the liver breaks them down, takes the toxic ones out of the body. The toxic part doesn't stay in the body. It takes it out, and then it takes most of the nutrients that the body needs and uses it to function. And then the liver also helps in production of cholesterol and control of cholesterol. So let's say if there's a lot of fat in our body system, the liver helps in production of the cholesterol, the fat, and then it makes sure that the cholesterol doesn't stay in the body if it's in excess. Because if it's in excess, the body doesn't need them. So it takes the excess, makes sure that it doesn't stay in the body, but takes them out of the body and clears them away. And then the liver also helps in it helps in release of nutrients, vitamins, and then produces something called glycogen. Glycogen is more or less like it's a part of glucose that is stored in the body system. So that when the body needs the vitamins, the liver stores it. Then the body goes for it. So if the body needs minerals, the body goes for it. If the body needs the glycogen that is stored from glucose, the body uses it to perform energy for the body.
Okay.
So those are the main functions.
So far you said 4, the production of bile,
Yes.
the clotting factor, that's the thrombin and the prothrombin,
Yes.
and then you said
Detoxification
detoxification,
process, yes.
and you said it also produces
Controls cholesterol.
controls cholesterol, produces and control
Cholesterol.
So we also produce cholesterol in our body, right?
Yes, that's when we eat.
Okay.
It takes the
okay.
fatty part, forms it into cholesterol.
Okay.
But it does it in a way that it doesn't make it stay so much in the body. It takes a little, use it, and then the excess ones are eliminated from the body.
Okay. All right.
And then it also produces nutrients and vitamins and glycogen.
So it means it's actually similar in function with the kidney.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So are we going to see similar diseases and similar areas, conditions? Okay.
Yes.
Going forward.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, now how do we damage our kidney?
Our liver.
Sorry, our liver. I keep saying kidney. Sorry guys, it's liver.
Okay, so there are so many ways that people usually get this liver condition diseases. So when you take, first of all, we have drugs.
Okay. All right.
Let's say somebody takes herbal medications in excess. It damages the liver because the liver is an organ. It's more or less like you have a car. If you overuse the car becomes weaker. So the liver will keep on doing the detoxification process. But once you keep adding more, gets to a point that it becomes more weaker. So it doesn't perform that detoxification process. So research or findings have made us see that herbal medications use it's one of the things that destroys our liver. Okay. And then the orthodox drugs also, some of them also destroy the liver. And a typical example is when you take excessive paracetamol.
Excessive paracetamol?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
People have gotten liver diseases from excess use of paracetamol. Okay. And then sleeping medication, sleeping tablets. Okay. And then there's a medication for tuberculosis called isoniazid. That one too, when you take it so much, the side effect of it also affects the liver.
Now, not to cut you, but I've always wanted to know what it means by excess. Okay. Because if I work very hard in the office, I calm my head, I'm having strong headache, I take para like maybe twice in a week, 3 times in a week. Under what condition am I abusing paracetamol?
Okay. So ideally, if you are to take paracetamol, it's supposed to be under prescription.
Okay.
Yes, by a doctor. But when you take it indiscriminately, let's say in a day, we have the amount of paracetamol, the quantity or the dosage that you need for a day. But if you don't follow the dosage, you might exceed the dosage. That is when it becomes excess. So it means that, let's say you're supposed to take 2 morning, 2 afternoon, 2 evening. If you take 2 morning, in the next 4 hours, you feel your headache is still not gone and you top up. The next 4 hours or the next 6 hours you take, you might exceed. So meaning that you're supposed to take it about 3 or 4 times in a day. Yes. But people might exceed that amount because they want instant relief or they want.
Okay.
So they might decide to be taking it in excess. Sometimes let's say you're supposed to complete it in 5 days. A person might even complete it within 3 days. Yes, because he wants faster relief. Yes, that is how come it might be in excess.
Okay. So it can even be prescribed, but you don't take it according to prescription. That is excess.
Yes.
All right. So we are actually talking about the ways in which we damage our kidneys.
Yes.
So you are saying first
herbal
one,
medications.
yes, herbal medications.
Yes.
And so the next one is
the next one is alcohol intake.
Okay, alcohol intake.
Yes.
Yes.
So when you take too much alcohol, alcohol is more or less a chemical. So once the alcohol comes into the liver, it damages the liver cells, and then it also causes. There's a condition called alcohol liver disease. So most people who are mostly alcoholics, they get that particular condition because they take the alcohol in excess, and the alcohol damages the liver. Yes. Yeah. Another thing too is smoking.
Okay.
Yeah. So people who also who smoke a lot, the smoke also affects the liver.
Any kind of smoking.
Any kind of smoking, yes. It could be cigarette, it could be weed, it could be any form of smoking, yes. Like the constant habit of it affects the liver as well.
All right.
Yes.
So we talked about some hard drugs.
Yes.
We talked about smoking.
Yes.
And we are also talking about alcohol intake. That's I heard it's cirrhosis, right?
Yes.
It makes the liver
scarce. Yes.
Wow.
It makes the linings of the liver cells scarring.
Wow.
Yes.
And this one we are talking about hard alcohol.
Yes, hard alcohol.
Not just our normal breweries.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have more.
And also sometimes we also have infections that also affect the liver. Viral infections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there are some 1 or 2 bacterial infections that also affects the liver.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it means when you have some of these things, then now your liver malfunctions. Your liver cannot do
what it's
supposed to do. The 5 things we talked about: bioproduction, thrombin, and all those ones.
Yes.
Your liver will not be able to do that. Okay. So are there some common liver diseases that we have to know?
So a typical example is what we spoke about, the cirrhosis of the liver.
Cirrhosis of the liver.
Yes.
Okay. Taking in too much alcohol.
Okay. Yes. And then we have one called fatty liver disease.
Fatty liver disease.
Yes, fatty liver disease. So people who consume a lot of cholesterol meals, like they take a lot of fatty foods, meat, let's say margarine, too much margarine, too much milk, all those things. At the end of the day, the liver becomes fatty. So it's also a typical example. So, and the alcohol can also cause a fatty liver disease. Yes.
Okay. So are they?
And then we have the hepatitis as well.
Okay.
Yes, we have the hepatitis as well. So I think in our next thing we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about hepatitis. But now, for the fatty liver disease, how do you know you have fatty liver disease?
Okay, so usually when you have these liver conditions, there are some symptoms that sometimes you present. Yes. We usually get pains. Okay, in the left part of the upper abdomen. We call it right. No, the left is more this side. Right is here. Yeah. So we have right hypochondriac pains. So you usually have pains on the upper side of this thing. And then sometimes you have jaundice. Your eyes become yellow. So it's either your eyes become yellow or your skin becomes yellow.
Your skin becomes
yellow.
Okay.
Or your stools become yellow. That's it. Sometimes you itch a lot. You have itching
after bathing.
Constant itching.
After bathing.
Yes.
Okay.
The liver sometimes produces something called bile salts. So they are retained in the body's tissues and so it causes a lot of itching. And then some also get weak. The body becomes weaker. Some also nauseate a lot. Some also vomit as well. And then some also get this heartburns. We call it dyspepsia. Yes. So most people with fatty liver conditions and general liver conditions present with those signs and symptoms. And most of the times, your urine is dark.
Dark,
very dark.
not yellow.
No, you can have yellowish urine, and then you can also have dark colored urine as well.
Dark colored urine.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. So, talking about jaundice, I think we'll delve into all those topics very soon. So, you spoke about some 4 or 5 symptoms.
Yeah.
That is, first you see yellowish eye.
Yes.
You have jaundice,
Yes.
and then you said you have
Itching of the skin.
itching of the skin, and then
Yeah.
you are having heartburns and all
Yeah.
that. So, does these ones come in clusters or single symptoms?
Okay. So usually, when we have that, most of the medical conditions, they come in stages.
Okay, they come in stages.
Yes. So some of them come in stage 1,
Mhm.
some come in stage 2, some come in stage 3, some come in stage 4. So for the liver, you wouldn't get the early symptoms are asymptomatic. You don't show any symptoms. But as the disease progresses, that is when the jaundice are usually in stage 3, stage 4. Like when you are taking the stages, yes, the jaundice are latent stages. Some even have this distended abdomen and the rest. Yes, those are in stage 4.
So those ones, there's nothing that can be done about it.
Something could be done, but most mortalities are most people who have these mortalities are usually with the stage 4 conditions.
Oh.
Yes. The early symptoms are nausea and this itching. Sometimes we give medications to suppress the itching. Those with the nausea to give medications to suppress the nausea and the rest. Yes. But when it gets to the terminal stage where the abdomen is distended, yes, the medical management is very extensive because you have to be tapping fluids and doing scans and a whole lot. Yes. So it's very extensive. Yes, very, very extensive.
Well, this is just by the way. I don't know, but in Africa, we have a system where the bigger your tummy, the wealthier you are.
Yeah.
So if I see someone with an extended abdomen, is it a signal?
Okay, so somebody can present with distended abdomen.
Okay.
Yes. With yellowish eyes.
Okay. That is 2
Yes.
symptoms.
Yes. Okay. And then some of them too will have abdomen will be distended and their breathing becomes very difficult.
Okay.
The abdomen becomes big. The diaphragm.
Yes.
The diaphragm, then the lungs usually helps in breathing.
Okay.
So the abdomen sits on the diaphragm.
Okay.
And that's what happens. Sometimes too, there's accumulation of fluids. There's a lot of water in you. So it makes your breathing difficult. Yes. Because the areas that you are supposed to respire, breathe, are all accumulated with fluids and all that. It makes your breathing difficult. Yes. So it's not all people with distended abdomen that usually have liver disease. There are other disease conditions too. But with jaundice, yellowish eyes, and then you see them with difficulty breathing. It's typically, some of them also have this swollen feet and the rest.
Swollen feet.
Yes. It typically tells you that it's likely it's a liver disease.
Okay. So you said in the initial stages, it's curable.
Yes.
But in the terminal
it's
stages,
manageable. Yes.
in the terminal stages,
In the terminal stages, it's manageable, but the mode of management for the acute, like the early stages, is quite different from the latent ones.
So if you are presented with someone in terminal stage, what do? Do you have to do operations?
Okay, so usually, like most of the cirrhosis of the liver cases,
cirrhosis of the yes.
you need to tap.
You need to tap what?
Tapping is a process. Usually you go into the abdomen and then you relieve part of the fluid from, because when the fluid is extensive, it makes the breathing difficult. There are patients that you put some fine needles through the abdomen. We put it through the peritoneum and then we tap some of the fluids out. So when some of the fluids comes out, you realize that now their breathing is a bit better. Yes. Some of them too are on medications. I spoke about infection, so we put some on antibiotics as well. Yes. And then those that have terminal ones, that nothing much can be done too. Sometimes you do liver transplant for them.
Oh, there's liver transplants.
Yes.
Wow. That would be expensive.
Yeah, that would be very expensive. because you know the liver is only one.
Yes.
So who donates his one liver for you?
So it means the
Very
one
expensive.
who is donating has to die.
Yes. Definitely.
All right. So, Doc, I think today we have exhausted
Yeah.
almost everything we have to say. And this actually goes back to our initial ideas we were talking about, Red 225,
Okay.
which is becoming something very, very terminal in our situation. So, guys, now almost everything points us to red being quite deadly. So, it affects the liver,
Yes.
affects the kidney,
Yes.
and sometimes even the brain.
Yes.
And this from last time you said the motion and all that, it
Yeah.
affects
Yeah.
the thinking and all that. Wow. So if you are abusing red, you know it's very, very, very dangerous. So Doc, today we thank you very much. Last time we did a small quiz and you blew our mind. So today we just want to do a small, just
Okay.
another one, a small quiz, and then
Okay.
we will see what you say.
Okay.
So Doc, now what this question has been on our mind for some time. When human die, where do you think we go to?
Okay. You know, I'm a strong Christian.
Okay,
So
Christian.
yes, I believe that when people die, there are two places you go. It's either you go to heaven or you go to hell.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Depending on how good you were on earth, like when you accepted Jesus Christ and you followed most of his principles and you lived your life in line with what the word of God says. Yes.
All right. I thought you were from a science background, so you are going to say human being. We are just all right. So today we have blown our mind as well. All right. So guys, thank you for your time. This episode is sponsored by Co Clinic, and we have another sponsor, Dayspring Water. They are sponsoring us a lot, and our multimedia is Valdelis Multimedia. So from time to time, we will bring all these things up, and then you know our next episode we are going to talk about hepatitis, and in the next we may talk about jaundice and other diseases. Stay tuned, and we'll give you the best. Thank you.